Carrying on, the last part of Paper 5, Central and Super Universes, God relation to the individual. Get this last part from 69 again. The indwelling of the mystery monitor constitutes the inception and ensures the possibility of the potential growth and survival of the immortal soul. The ability of mortal parents to procreate is not precedented on the educational, cultural, social, economic status, the union of the parental factors under natural conditions, quite sufficient, initiate offspring, a human mind, discerning right and wrong, and possessing capacity to worship God. And union with the divine adjuster is all that is required, and that mortal and initiate and foster the production of his immortal soul and survival qualities. If such a spirit endowed individual seeks God and sincerely desires to become like him, honestly elects to do the will of the Father in heaven. 5. The personality. The God of personality, rather. 6. Universal Father is the God of personalities, the dominion of universal personality from the lowest mortal and material creature of the personality status to the highest persons of creator dignity and divine status. And it is the center and circumference, and the universal Father, God, the Father, and the bestower, and the conservator, every personality. The Paradise Father is likewise the destiny of all finite personalities who wholeheartedly choose to do the will of thy Father, and those who love God and long to be like him. Sounds like the only logical person as Spock used to say to be like. Love is only feels right. Nothing else does. Personality is the one of the unsolved mysteries of the universes. We are able to form adequate concepts of the factors entering into the makeup of various orders of levels of personality. We do not fully comprehend the real nature of the personality itself. We clearly perceive the numerous facts that put together constitute the vehicle of human personality. We do not fully comprehend the nature of the significance of a finite personality. Personality is the potential within all creatures who possess the endowment ranging from minimum self-consciousness to the maximum consciousness energy. Personality is that quality and value in cosmic reality which exclusively bestowed by the Father upon these systems of the associated and co-coordinated energies of the mind and spirit. Neither is the personality progressive achievement. Personality may be material or spiritual, but either in personality or there is no personality. There is none other that contains the levels of personal except for their direct Paradise Father, the bestowal of the exclusive function of the Universal Father, of all living energy systems of which he endows himself in the relative creature consciousness, of the free will, control, self thereof, he has no part of. It exists with and except for the Father's fundamental attributes of the human selfhood, as the absolute adjuster nucleus and the personality are bestowals of the Universal Father, acting his exclusively personal domain in cosmic ministry. The adjusters and pre-personal status and dwell in numerous types of mortal creatures, thus having these same beings survive mortal death, to personalize as Urantia creatures with the potential and ultimate spiritual attainment. For, with such a creature, mind and personality endowment by a fragment of the spirit of the eternal God, and the pre-personal bestowal of the personal Father, then does this finite personality possess the potential to divine and eternal, and to aspire to a destiny to become akin, ultimate, even reaching for a realization of the absolute capacity of the divine personality is inherited, and the proposal adjuster capacity for the human personality is potential of the cosmic mind, endowment of the human, and the experimental personality of mortal man is not observable, is an active, a functional reality, until the material life vehicle of mortal creature has touched by such a liberating divinity of the universal Father, and thus launched upon the seas of experience and self-consciousness, a relative, self-determinative, self-creative personality of the material self is truly and adequately personal. The material self has personally and identifiably, temporarily, is a spirit adjuster with the identity, eternal identity, and the material personality with the spirit personality are capable of uniting the creative attributes as to bring existence as the surviving deity of the immortal soul. Having thus for the growth of the immortal soul, of having liberated man's inner self of fetters of absolute dependences upon the antecedent causation, and the Father stands aside. Now man, having the liberated fetters of the causation response, at least pertains to the eternal destiny and the provision, having made for the growth of the immortal self, the soul, it remains for man himself to will the creation, or to inhibit the creation. For this surviving and eternal self, which is his choosing, no other being, force, or creator, or agency in all wide universe of universes can interfere of any decree with the absolute sovereignty of the mortal free will, as it pertains within the realms of choice, regarding to eternal destiny and personality of choosing mortal, and pertains eternal survival. God has decree over the sovereignty of the material and mortal will. That is, the decree is absolute. There are things called the Archon that really mess with people, so there's those that I don't see mentioned here. Anyway, the bestowal of the creature personality confessed relative liberation from slavish response and antecedent causation of personalities of all such moral beings, evolutionary and otherwise, are centered in the personality of the Universal Father. They're ever drawn towards the paradise presence by the kingship of being, which constitutes vast and universal family, circle, and fractional circuit of the eternal God. There is a kingship of the divine spontaneity in all personality. The personality circuit of the universe is centered in the person of the Universal Father, in the paradise personally conscious of and in personal touch with all the personalities of all levels of self-consciousness existence, and the personality consciousness of all creation extends independently on the mission of the thought adjusters. As of all gravity is circuited in the Isle of Paradise, all the mind is circuited in the conjoint actor, and all is circuited in the spirit of the eternal Son. And so is all personality circuited into the personal presence of the Universal Father from the Eternal Sons, and this circuit is unerringly transmits the worship of all personalities to the original and eternal personality. Concerning these personalities who are not adjuster indwelt, the attribute of choice, liberty, is so bestowed by the Universal Father, and such persons are likewise embraced in great circuit of divine love and personality circuit of the Universal Father. God provides for our sovereign choice of all good and true personalities. No personal creature can be coerced into the eternal adventure. The portal of eternity opens only in response to the free will choice of the free will sons of the God of free will. And this represents my efforts to present in relation of the living God to the children of time. And when all is said and done, I can do nothing more helpful than reiterate that God is your universe Father, and that you are all his planetary children. This is the 5th paper, and this is the last of the series presenting the narrative of the Universal Father by a divine counselor of Uversa.